In this video, we're covering how to live loop record in the new 3.0 firmware. We're just starting here from a new song. In other words, shift and new, and we're in a new song here. I'm gonna go to song view, and this is our first track here. So we're gonna make that into an audio clip. So we have to hold it down, press the select knob here, and it'll change it to audio 1. If I hold down learn and just tap on the pads, it'll give me an option to change what audio signal we're going to be sourcing from. So here I have stereo with the dot, and that's so the dot means we're gonna be hearing the monitoring coming through as well. There is another method, which I explained in another video, of just how to have it on all the time. But in this case, I'm just gonna use this and press down the knob so we can hear just playing on my circuit that's over here. So if we just do this first, we don't have any other tracks to hold down the BPM, which right now is 120. So if we record, say, into an audio clip, it's gonna go into auto BPM mode. So I'm just gonna show you what that means here. So I'm gonna press record, press play here, and I'm just gonna play some notes in. So there's no count in or anything. I'm gonna press this, now close the loop. And then it says we're at 90.28 BPM. So it just made it based off of no beat at all. So if I go back here, we just undid that. Now we're just gonna add an extra track here. So it can be anything at this point. So I'm just gonna make that a kit, which is gonna be able to trigger my circuit drums. So we're just making a very simple beat, and you can press play, you can hear what we did. Now, since we have something of consistency with this blank audio clip, the looper is going to record now until we close the loop and start playing it back. So we're going to do this the same way. We're going to press that mute button before it reaches the end of the length. But first, we want to make sure what length this is at, because if we set this at 1 bar or even half a bar or anything like that, what you'd have to imagine is if we set it, let's say, to this, it's going to record, and the quantization of that closed loop is going to relate to how long we make that length. So what I'm going to do is just record. We're going to record the circuit drums that are coming through the mixer into the line in, and then I'm going to press both of the mutes. That way, if I didn't do that, it would just double up the sound on top of the loop. So okay, so that's an audio loop now. So it's made. So let's say it's already playing, and I want to record right into here. Turn on record, and then right before the end of this, I'm going to press this mute, and it's just going to enable it next pass it goes. And there you go. There's an audio clip of the drums. So there's two different kinds of overdub. The regular overdub just does one instance of it. When we overdub, please note that it will clone all of the effect settings from the source audio clip. So if we have a pitch, reverb, delay, anything, it's going to show up on the next overdub. Overdubs are mainly what I use when writing songs. And when we overdub, we lock the new audio clip down to the same length measurement as the original. We can also record it as long as we want, but the end of the loop will always line up to the original length, just as if we set that length before we did this recording. So it's going to operate about that same way. So let's just try it out. So I'm going to press play here, and before it reaches the end of this, I'm going to press record, and as I'm holding it down, I'm going to press the track below it. So in other words, we're just saying record and overdub, clone it down here. If there's another track here, don't worry about it, just press it. Just press right under the one you want to create the overdub from. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into the synths here and just start playing something, and it's gonna record until I press that mute, and then it will close at the end of that bar. So here we go. So there it is. That's the audio recorded right in. Now I'm going to go my other synth here. Okay, let's add a little delay. Okay, so So I'm gonna zoom out just so I can watch this counter. So here we go. I'm gonna hold down record and press down here, because that's where I want new track. And now I'm just gonna play notes in. And there it is. So what I can also do, let's say I like these drums here. So what I'm going to do is hold it down and copy it up here. And now you're going to see that it's a new section. So I can just jump to that section and then start a different bass line, like something different. Let's turn off that delay. So if I press play. Okay, so I've got some notes I want to play. So we're just looking at this counter. I'm going to hold down record and press right under there. Let's say I didn't like that, so I just press back and it just undoes it. So this has a lot of great possibilities. Like I could grab my guitar, start recording different parts, changing the section, keeping the drums if I want, and then just overdubbing from those. Also, don't forget, you can change the color of your tracks. So I like, let's say, blue for those tracks, for the synth tracks. Just change them to blue. Just holding down shift, turning the up and down knob. And so you can easily start organizing things and having a nice little color scheme. Now, if we hold down record, we can see this is blinking purple, not blinking, or red. So if we're in the default purple, it's just going to add to the currently playing audio. So it'll make it that we can play all the clips at the same time. Right now we're going to leave it in the purple blinking right now. We're just going to add another track, just like we just did. Okay, now what I want to do is hold down record, change this to red. And so you're going to see, I'm going to hold down record, press the track under it, and let's check this out. So as you can see, it turned off the original overdubbed track. So if I switch to this one, it turns off the other one. So you can only play one at a time. Now this is useful if you wanted to do different verses or different, say you're recording a guitar and you want to play like chords and then an arpeggiated track, and you can switch between them. So just remember, if you have that, again, if it's purple, it's just going to add each one. If it's red, then it's going to set it to one at a time. Now there is another mode that's it's called continuous overdub. What this does, let's say we do it onto this track. What's going to do is it's just going to record an overdub. It's going to keep recording new clips, and it'll all be based on the source's length. So we're not going to be able to extend it or anything like that. It's just going to start adding new clips. This is just an interesting method where you can really start experimenting. It works by pressing record and then pressing the audition pad below the source clip. Record and mute also applies to this. So if I switch it to red, then it's just going to do that one at a time playing wave. If I have that on purple, we're going to hear everything continually play. So let's try that. So again, record, hold that down and press the audition pad underneath, which is over here. As you can see, it just keeps looping it through until I stop. So I'm just going to undo all that. Now let's hold down record and go to the red one. Now we're just going to hear one after the other. So here we go. Let's just see what that sounds like. Hold down record, audition pad underneath the track we want to overdub. Get rid of that track, and now we can just switch between these. Now in terms of audio clips, all the files, okay, of these tracks are actually going to a temporary directory. These files will stay in there, so I'm going to show you where that is. So we have a temp folder that's in the clips folder, and that has all the tracks from that. These files are going to stay in here even if you don't save, but eventually they'll be overwritten. If you do want things to go into the clip directory, you just save your song. If you do a collect save, in other words, we press save and then we hold down save after we enter the file name, all the clip files are going to go to the song folder and the clips folder. And again, if you just normally save, it's just going to go to the clips folder.